All right, team C171, you have 3 circuits running simultaneously. And then you have a fourth that's a finisher. It's a core finisher. So the 3 circuits there's 2 active or anaerobics and 1 active recovery. So this one you can push a lot harder than you think you can. And if you want to get the most out of this workout, you have to push really hard on the anaerobic and take advantage of the active recoveries. The work time is 40 seconds. The rest time or the transition time is 15. There's 3 rounds. And then you have an end of round rest time even at 35 seconds. And then you transition from circuit to circuit is 50 seconds. So there's a lot of rest in there. There's a lot of built-in rest, but that's the reason that is so you can push really hard on the anaerobic exercises. And then the finisher circuit is just some core exercises, 4 rounds, 30 seconds where you transition from a leg lift to a hip lift, and there's 0 transition time between the 2. So you hold the hip lift for 15 seconds and then you get a 10-second rest in between rounds. And again, there's 4 rounds there. And their team is C171. Vertical mountain climbers. So on the vertical mountain climbers, it's opposite arm and opposite leg that come up. Now, for somebody who's brand new, you can simply have them doing this. They don't even need to be using their arms, because anytime you use more body parts, it's going to drive the heart rate up. So for somebody who's brand new, just have them simply do walking in place. Okay. Now for everybody else, opposite arm, opposite leg. Now, what you want to do is you want speed and range of motion. Once they get to the point where they can't go any faster like this, then you add that hop in there. But what you really want for your advanced people is speed. You really want them going fast. So that's the whole idea behind the vertical mountain climbers. Again, they're called vertical mountain climbers because your arms are going straight up. Again, anytime you add more movement, especially movement above your head, heart rate goes up. But for most people, the low impact version works well. If they have calf issues or knee issues or anything like that, try to keep them low impact. And there's the vertical mountain climbers. Next, you're going to have the wheel rollout or the wheel hold. So what you're going to demonstrate, knees against this platform. This particular exercise puts a lot of stress on the lower back if you do not have a strong core, in particular strong abdominals. So you always start them in this position. They come out and back. This is the wheel roll, okay? Now, the key here is we're not doing this. This is not working our core at all, hardly, okay? We're stabilizing ourselves with the roller. This is actually working your core. You will start to feel your core working in here. And you don't have to go full range of motion. Just limit the range of motion to make it easier. Want to make it more challenging? Just take those knees back. The further back you go with the knees, the more challenging this gets. Now, the most challenging, the highest version of this, is going to be a hold. You're going to hold it here for 30 seconds. That is hard. Holding it on the step is harder than holding it down here, because a lot of my weight is now being supported by my quads. When I'm up here, I'm elevated to where everything's on my knees. So it actually is harder to hold this on the step. Whereas we always try to make it easier by putting them on the step, but in that situation where they're holding it out, it actually is harder to do it on the step. But again, I have to remind you that you do not want to put somebody with lower back problems, or if they have a hernia, or they feel like they have a hernia, or there's a pain, discomfort when they do something like that, have them do crunches. So the very beginning of this is for somebody who has abdominal issues, put them in a crunch. Do not have them do that. That is a very advanced move, even for the beginners. All right, next. All right, box jump burpee. So the key on the box jump burpee is to minimize the impact. So for most of our members, for a lot of our members, the best thing for them is to come down on the box, they walk back, they walk up, then they're going to walk on and off. And if you do it fast enough, that's going to be more than adequate, just like this. Okay. Now, if they need to get a little bit more, then they're going to jump back, jump off, walk on, walk off. That's option number 2. And the reality is for most of our members, that's more than adequate. However, you do have your hardcores. But again, the key is to land soft. Keep the chest up and you come up wide. With any burpee, we're always getting in the habit to come up wide with their feet and keep their hips back, so that protects their knees. Now, option number 3, jump back, jump off, jump on, and then walk off. I'd prefer to see most people do that. For your super or more advanced, it's jump on, jump off, And then of course for your hardcores, again, these are just your hardcores on the ground, and it comes down to speed. All about the speed on that one. You do not need to go to the upper box. Only the super hardcore really need to go to the upper box, and they don't even need to do that. If they go fast enough on the lower box, they'll get just as effective as a workout. But remember, always keep in mind the new people. For the average person, minimize the impact. Slam ball toe touch. So the slam ball toe touch, first of all, the reason that we use the slam ball is because when you're tapping this ball like this, notice it's still staying in the same spot. It doesn't really move that much. If I did that with a medicine ball, it'd be all over the room. So in particular, that's why we use the slam ball. However, there's different levels of this. One is just a nice slow walk. So pretty much anybody can do this. Obviously, if you want more, you start going faster. You want more, you start adding that hop. And really, you can make this as hard as you want. You can also add a dimension where you're starting to move laterally. So this works on coordination as well as getting that heart rate up. But there's a lot of different variations, but it all comes down to the intensity that you use. For a beginner, try to minimize the amount of effort and minimize the impact as well. And there's the slam ball toe touch. All right, Rip 60 flutters. So the key on this one is your arms are going to be out and you're just going to alternate between the two. So this is a core exercise. It's an active recovery. The strap just goes right on the outside of your arm. Obviously, for a beginner, they come farther out. The further away from the wall you are, the easier this exercise is. If you have shoulder problems, another thing that you can that you would do is you just come further out, or you can have a completely different option for an exercise. You want a little bit more, you just keep working your way back. The hardest version is going to be obviously going to be against the wall. You're going to come out. Again, this is very challenging on the shoulders as well. So if somebody has shoulder issues, this is probably, you do not want them against the wall. You want them further out. Again, the further out you go, the easier it's going to be. The other thing is, try to keep the heel on the ground, because again, you're getting an active stretch in your calf. So the entire time, try to keep those heels on the ground so that not only do you get your core work, but you're also getting that active stretch in your calf. Again, for any of these active recoveries, if it bothers shoulders or back or anything like that, you can have them do a crunch, you can have them do a plank, whatever you need. You can have them do anything that's still working and activating the core, but not necessarily that particular exercise, because that one might bother them. So there is the Rip 60 flutters. Side to side step tap. So the key on the side to side step tap is you're moving laterally. So you come up, and this for a beginner is more than adequate. All they're going to do is tap the step. Obviously, if they want more, they're going to go faster. You're going to stay a little bit lower and keep that head level. You want more, then you add that hop in there. You want more, again, you go super fast and try to keep that body stable, because that's going to keep load in the legs. You do not need to go high on here. Maybe one riser, because you're moving laterally side to side very quickly. The last thing you want to do is if you trip up when you're trying to come up too high with those legs and then you roll that ankle, that's a bad thing. So we want to try to keep them low. It's about the speed and keeping them low on the step. Again, one riser is more than adequate. If somebody has a lateral problem where they can't move side to side, that bothers their knees, they can always go to the step tap. On any of these step exercises that involve a step, you can always come back and do something like a step tap. Again, ideally faster, but you're moving linearly, not laterally. So if people have a hard time with that with their knees, that's always an option. And again, you can always give them any other option that just gets their heart rate up. So there is the side to side step tap. All right, jump over box. So this one, key, chest stays up and we land soft. All of our exercises, you want to minimize impact. So on this one, for a beginner, it's simply walk on and walk off. And for a beginner, that's more than adequate. As a matter of fact, for your very, very beginner, you don't need any riser at all. You just have them on the ground and you literally just have them walk on and walk off and minimize, because again, for people with knee problems, maybe a lower bench, whatever it might be, the 4 people with knee problems, then the lower bench is going to be a better option. For most of the members, this is adequate. You don't need to go super high on this one. 3 would be the highest. 2 is more than adequate. Again, it comes down to speed. So again, walk on, walk off. So want a little bit more? We're just going a little bit faster. You want more? That's when we're going to add that hop in there. Now, you can go a couple of ways. You can go out wide like this, or you can take that lunge back. Again, that puts a little bit more into your hips and glutes. But the big thing, again, especially for your hardcore, height and speed, they want to explode. When you come down, you're slowing yourself with the leg that's on the step. So you're not jamming the leg that's coming down to the ground into the ground, because that has a longer distance to go than this top leg. So slow the motion down from the top leg. Okay, now the medicine ball Russian twist. So this one here, several options. One, if you have participants that have their tailbone, they have tailbone issues or anything like that, you can always do a crunch on any of your active recoveries, which a medicine ball Russian twist is an active recovery. You can always do a crunch. If you're going to do a crunch, shoulders come up. Notice the shoulders are coming up, and I'm not pulling on my neck. Never have them pull on their neck or pull their shoulders in and rotate the trunk together. You're just simply lifting the shoulders straight up. Okay, so that's option 1 for people that have problems with their tailbone, or if this bothers their lower back. So from there, your first option is going to be feet on the ground. Again, the key with the medicine ball Russian twist is shoulders. Notice my shoulder, how far across it is on my body. This is what I want. I want rotation. Okay, there are certain exercises we want rotation, certain we don't. This one we want rotation. Now, what we want to do is we want to slow that medicine ball down with our body. So we're not bouncing it from side to side, because this is going to make it easier. However, when I get that full rotation and I'm not bouncing it on the ground, it makes it more intense for the core. Next, raise the feet up, same concept, get those shoulders across. Then from there, then go up heavier in weight. But don't go heavier, don't have the members go heavier in weight if they can't already do it, and do it at a decent pace. You don't need to go fast, but you want to go at a decent pace, because that creates that momentum, and the momentum, slowing that momentum down is what really works that core. All right, team, slam ball burpee. So on the slam ball burpee, just like with the slam ball, you're going to follow it down with your hips and your hands. Then you're going to come down to the ground, walk back, walk up. With any burpee, feet come wide, hips are back, and knees are back, and chest is up. We don't want this. This is a common thing because we say chest up. So what do? That puts a lot of stress on the knee joints. You don't need any more stress on the knee joints. So for people that can't do it, have them just do slam ball, or use the medicine ball. For somebody who's brand new, just have them do medicine ball. If they're excessively overweight and they don't have the motion, they can't get on and off the floor, have them do a medicine ball slam. So use a small medicine ball and have them do the medicine ball slam, where they're just doing this. That is more than adequate. Okay. However, for the slam ball, again, we can walk back, walk up, or you can come down. Then you jump back, jump up wide, once again, lift it up. If you need more, come down, jump back, jump up. You can have that hop in there. Or the most advanced is going to be staying on the slam ball, because this is going to have a balance. So you got to balance yourself, especially if you bring your feet back narrow, you're going to really balance yourself. Then come back wide, then come up. So speed that up, add the hop in there, and that's going to be the most advanced version of the slam ball slam. Again, for brand new people that don't have the hip mobility, you're probably better off doing a medicine ball slam so that they can limit that range, keep the tempo up, or they can do a burpee from a box, elevated. They don't have to do the slam ball part of that. Their team is the slam ball burpee. Next is going to be some ab work. So normally we do a leg lift. Normal leg lift, supporting the lower back like this. However, this time we're going to do a leg lift, and we're going to do a hip lift along with it. So legs go down, they come up, and you do the hip lift. Now, there's also another one where we're going to be holding that hip lift That gets intense very quick. Really works the abdominals, especially the lower abdominals, but also the upper abdominals as well. So that's a really intense one there. Obviously, there's a lot of different variations that we can do for that one. Now,